pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Manager, how many more of these do you have?
Only one more.
One more?
Yep,
9th, 16th?
Second to last one, huh?
it is. Thank you for observing it.
Yeah. I know you get in later and later all the time. Kind of cruising into it.
Yeah. What? I'll tell you why in a few minutes, so why I'm late. But, okay, preview for December 9th. You have 5 folks on the public agenda. Move on to your third page. Number 1 would adopt the recommendations of the Property Maintenance Task Force. Staff will make some comments, and then the task force will have a representative that will actually make the presentation. Number 1 under new business would approve the overnaming of a portion of Ash Street for Pastor J.P. Dennis Jr.
Is there a cost to that?
Yes, it's we quoted in the report. It's just for the signs, and to be honest with you, I think we probably it's $500 and probably overstated the cost just a little bit.
Okay.
Number 2 would consider an ordinance calling for a March 3, 2026 special election to impose a 1% city sales tax. This proposal has been put before you by a group called Wichita Forward. And they will make a presentation on their plans during the staff presentation on that item. Number 3 would approve the 3-year agreement with Greater Wichita Partnership to, for economic development services. Number 4 would approve a 1-year agreement with the Wichita Independent Business Association for small business assistance. Number 5 would approve the 3rd phase of the K-96 in Greenwich Star Bond District to construct a $191 million multi-sport athletic complex on 40 acres of land in the southeast corner of the district. Next page, the planning item would approve a rezoning in District 3. This was continued from the December 2nd meeting. On consent, nothing on the first page of consent. 3A would approve a funding agreement with Sedgwick County for the maintenance of the MS Mitch Mitchell flooding control project, or flood control project. Number 6 would approve an overestimate bid for the 17th Street Improvement Project due to increased costs for stormwater sewer manhole replacements, signal upgrades, and increased concrete costs. Next page, number 7, would approve appointments to the Grants Review Committee for 2026. Then to the last page, number 10 would approve the sale of a public housing authority home. That's all I have for the December 9th meeting. When I received the December 16th agenda, I thought it was a practical joke. See, that is my last regular meeting. Unfortunately, it is not, and so it is a very lengthy agenda. Start on the second page. Yeah. I will tell you, it started with 21 new business items, and I actually have moved several of those to the first meeting in January. My present to Dennis. But the number 1 on new council business would approve a letter of intent for the issuance of $8 million in multifamily housing revenue bonds for 32 workforce housing apartment units. Number 2 would approve a letter of intent for the issuance of $39 million in IRBs for a medical production facility. Number 3 would approve the development agreement for redevelopment of the Old Town West Square facility. Excuse me. Didn't say that the right way. The old or former Town West Square facility. Number 4 would approve the development agreement for the construction of Phase 3 in the K-96 in Greenwich Star Bond District. Number Number 5 would approve the salary and classification ordinances for 2026. Number 6 would amend the transient guest tax charter ordinance to reflect changes requested by the Kansas Department of Revenue. Number 7 would approve the purchase of a centralized contract management system. Number 8 would approve the end-of-year budget adjustments. Number 9 would approve the allocation of special liquor tax funds for grants to address alcohol and substance abuse prevention and treatment. Number 10 would approve an operating partnership agreement with Botanica. Number 11 would approve 22 cultural funding activation grants. The next item would approve 2026 OP3 and bike path repair, paved alley repair, and traffic signal detection replacement projects. Next item would approve 2026 dirt street paving program. Next would approve guaranteed maximum price for the First Street Bridge project. Next item would approve revised design contract for the Douglas Improvement Project. I think that gets us to number 16, which is approve a 2026 property casualty and liability insurance coverages.
Quick question. If the proposed sales tax were to move forward on the 9th, then the second vote would have to be on the 16th. Would it also be public hearing, or there would be open public comment too?
Typically, that would be on the consent agenda as approval of the second
It
reading.
would be
of the
second reading,
ordinance.
okay.
Yep. Number 2 on the planning agenda is approval of a zoning change in District 4. There's a difference between MAPC and DAB recommendations. Number 3 would approve a zoning change in District 5. This was deferred from the December 2nd meeting. On a housing agenda, next page, approve a conditional commitment of 8 project-based housing vouchers for a project located on South Broadway. Nothing on the next page. On the following page, number 8 would approve a reallocation of unspent flood control funds for pending stormwater improvements. Number 10 would approve the annual appropriation of the 26 budget and the payment of 2025 claims. Mr. Vice Mayor, excuse me, no, I do have a few items. Next to last page, number 23 is the Public Housing Authority's approval of the sale of 332 North Riverview. I'm hoping this will be the last transaction associated with all this. I think we had 4 or 3 in front of you. And then you've got 5 Public Housing Authority homes that would be sold. Mr. Vice Mayor, that's all I have on that agenda.
Okay, thank you. Any announcements or comments?
We do have a staff presentation today.
We do.
It's a short one, but yes, we have one.
I just wanted to mention next Thursday is City Manager Layton's retirement celebration at the Wichita Art Museum, so encourage everyone to come and give their well wishes. And also, if you have not submitted your tribute video yet, it's due today, so make sure that you get that done.
No one has told me anything about this. Is there an open bar?
It should be.
For you.
We might still be in the meeting. Who knows?
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor, and City Manager Layton. I just wanted to quickly say, I'm over here, just finished with a tour with Senator Jerry Moran at the United Methodist Open Door. We were over here learning more about the commodity supplemental food program and the community food ministry over by 21st Opportunity Drive. We're very appreciative of the organizations that have come together, including the Youth Food Bank, United Methodist Open Door, and United Way. And just a quick reminder for individuals who want to know about the resources in our community, United Way has a one-page front and back resource guide, and it is posted on their website and really encourage our community members to provide that resource to those who are in need this holiday season.
Okay, thank you. The presentation?
Yes, we have a presentation from Paul Gunzelman.
Okay. Thank you, Bob. Good morning, council members. Wanted to give you a quick presentation on traffic calming techniques. Oftentimes, engineering staff, or more specifically, traffic engineering staff receives calls from citizens expressing concerns of speeding through their neighborhoods. Staff, when we get those requests, staff evaluates the street conditions as well as collect speed data. Rarely we see speeding issues. Many times it's perception. The vehicles are going faster than what they are actually measured. So a few things I want to cover this morning: layout of the street network, on-street parking, how it impacts speeding, roadway geometry, as well as lane reductions that we have completed here recently. Roadway geometry, typically the historical neighborhoods were straight grid layouts, which lead to or could lead to perceived speeding. We get requests from citizens to install stop signs to control speeds, and stop signs aren't used for that. They are used to control traffic into a sign right of way, in essence. So, for instance, if we have a perceived speeding, if these intersections aren't controlled by stop signs due to various other reasons, crashes, side obstructions, or anything like that, we might get a request to install stop signs to reduce speeds through here. Again, they're not used to control speeds, because if we install a stop sign that stops a major traffic for what the minor would be, folks tend to ignore those stop signs and then create a more hazardous condition than the intersection being open. Throughout the years, subdivisions have been platted differently. You can see there is no longer the grid pattern anymore. It's more curvilinear streets with cul-de-sacs platted off of those. This reduces, the true intersections. Many of them are T, and it also discourages through traffic through the platted subdivisions. Going on to some of the traffic calming techniques. On-street parking. This is one of the most effective traffic calming elements on streets. It's very effective at keeping speeds low due to the vehicles being parked. Narrowing the street roadway as well as tree canopy also helps. Tubular markers. We had placed tubular markers on 2nd Street west of Hillside, more so to control some turning movements that we had issues with. Folks were traveling in this, kind of down the center and turning into a clinic, whereas, another car would be traveling closer to the south curb line, and we'd have some crashes. We had installed these tubular markers to help define those travel patterns. But as you can see, it represents a parked vehicle as well, so that was a bonus to this. The speed limits on 2nd Street through this area are 28 miles an hour, so it has effectively reduced those speeds as well. We had a request for again, a speeding concern along 27th Street from Glen to Seneca. We had installed some various traffic calming techniques. We did 3 locations. This one shows, curb extensions, what a curb extension could be on each side of the street. We also had some that were installed that were offset, and then I think we had a little mini median installed as well. The results of that speed with these techniques resulted in approximately a 4-mile-an-hour speed reduction along the corridor. The reduction was more prevalent near these traffic control devices or the tubular markers. However, throughout it was 4 miles an hour. The cost to install these was approximately $3,500 for the pair. And we are doing this as a pilot project, utilizing Neighborhood Improvement Program funding so that we can see, as other areas request traffic control devices, that we can special assess those. We have received, this would be what it would look like as a permanent installation to install concrete. And those costs, we put that out for bid, and they are approximately $20,000 per pair. So going forward, that would be special assessed to those neighborhoods that might want this.
So, 2 questions here. One, when you say special assessed, does that mean the whole block?
That we would define a benefit district, yes, yeah.
Okay, and then the second question, do you have to have the permission of the property owners who's, these are laying in front of their houses?
We do, and we had, the contractor had started to go out and install those. We've had to try and shift them a little bit because, I don't know that they were too concerned with the tubular markers. They didn't express concerns, but once we start going out to actually construct the traffic control device, then they've had some issues. So we've tried to shift them one way or the other, and we are working with those property owners.
Sorry, Mike.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry.
What's the lifespan of the temporary tubular markers versus the permanent installation that you just showed as well?
I think these have been stayed up pretty well. We don't plow these streets typically, so they should be able to stay up. I don't know that we've had anybody hit them or anything like that. So they're probably not the most aesthetically pleasing devices, but it does give an idea of what the reduction of speeds could be if they were installed. And then the permanent ones, I think, they'd remain out there the whole time. So again, it was about $3,500 to install this, and then approximately $20,000 for the permanent installation. And we've had good results. Like I said, 4 miles an hour is pretty good results. I want to talk about medians. Again, this is another traffic calming technique that has been installed. Going forward, we might reduce this width, even more. We want to make sure that we can still accommodate fire trucks, etc. This doesn't look like much. I know the Winston Street is kind of covering this, but this is a small median. Again, it doesn't look like much. On paper, you think it needs to be larger. However, when I went up there to take a picture and see how it was operating, this red car was parked there, and it really narrowed it down. Folks had to really slow down to go around that. So it's another good opportunity. And with these permanent installations, these would be a special assessed. These were installed when the subdivision was paved, and these would be part of the special assessments of paving. Another treatment that we have utilized, these again are curb extensions adjacent or near the intersection, which slows speeds as you go around the corners. And we've also completed some mid-block. As I mentioned before, we've had good We've been working with planning engineers and developers. As you can see, this was a snippet of the paving plans. This was included in the paving plans for the subdivision, and again installed with the paving, so special assessment, but it's another technique that we have used, and planning engineers and developers are receptive to these and actually have been supportive of them. So we continue to look at opportunities to put those in. The advantage of doing it with the paving project is, you know, people are aware of, they are, you know, prior to purchasing their homes. I'm going to move on to arterial streets a little bit. This is through Delano. Again, there's we put in curb extensions at the intersections, which decrease the crossing distance for pedestrians, which is a safety benefit. And again, narrowing the roadway reduces speeds. The average speed through Delano is 21 miles an hour. So it's effective, probably with the angle parking as well. Moving to the east, this is Douglas, so west of Washington. Similarly, you can see the curb extensions that were installed as part of the bus shelters. And that's been, that also slowed some traffic, and the traffic speeds there are approximately 30 miles an hour, which is a posted speed limit. And then we had taken some average speeds east of Washington, and they are the same. We have also utilized some tubular markers on First Street, just west of Old Town. Again, narrowing First Street down to slow speeds, and that has an average speed of approximately 32 miles per hour. As a comparison, when 2nd Street was reconstructed a few years ago, we had installed a raised intersection. And we have some raised crosswalks on Sycamore, they're near 225 Sycamore, north of Douglas, as well as some raised crosswalks on McLean near Equity Bank Park. They all have a different slope to them. I personally, you know, this one's pretty abrupt. However, it really does what it was intended to slow traffic and allow for, you know, safety of pedestrians to cross the street. I think the one on Sycamore is pretty good. The ones down near, adjacent to Equity Bank Park, I think they're pretty minimal, and I don't know that they're very effective. So we're trying to find that happy balance between them all, but again, it's a good technique.
On the raised intersection, what's the difference between this and a speed bump? Because when I go over this, I just assume it's a speed bump in my mind because it acts as that. So is it just the grade?
It's the length of it, you know, speed bumps. So this, you can get the whole vehicle on top of it before you go back down. Speed bumps, some of them are pretty, you know, you have wheels on either side. So we've been trying even the raised intersections or the raised crosswalks. We want to make them long enough so that the vehicle gets up before.
This is the most effective way to curb me speeding.
It is. It's like I say, it's abrupt, and you know, it's
Not that I speed, but if I were to speed, this is the way to curb that.
Yes, and I think we're proposing some more along 2nd Street as we, you know, make improvements from Maine to St. Francis on a future project. So they have, you're right, they do work well. Some other traffic calming devices, roundabout there at Sycamore and Douglas. And then this one is within the Oak Creek, which is 19th and Chateau. We have had some plating engineers ask about some smaller ones within the residential subdivision, so we will try some more of those as well. And then the last slide here is the lane reductions. This is on Waco, where we've reduced 4 lanes to 3-lane roadways. Again, it provides a safety benefit, providing, you know, getting the left turn vehicles out of the inside through lanes to prevent rear end accidents or crashes. And it also, when vehicles are all traveling, 3 vehicles are traveling in the same lane, it really normalizes the speed so you don't have the high and low ends. So it increases that vehicle density, which tends to lower the speeds on the 3-lane roadways. We converted Lincoln Street between Woodlawn and Rock last year. I drive that frequently, and there was a noticeable difference from the 4 lanes to 3 lanes, and we're still getting the same amount of traffic through it. So. And then before I get to questions, I want to mention one other thing. Staff has been working with planning engineers, developers, as well as WABA to look at our subdivision regulations, specifically Article 7, regarding the street layouts and widths. And I think some of the collector streets through residential neighborhoods without vehicles parking on them are really, really wide. I think we can narrow those up. So we're working with them to look at those typical sections. And then we'll also, continue to talk about traffic calming techniques. So, and with that, I will stand for questions.
Do you want to talk a little bit about if we do a traffic study at an intersection we think is particularly dangerous? I guess you guys have your engineer's guidebook. I don't know if everybody else knows about that. Just might want to touch on that real quick.
So if we get I'm assuming a stop sign request or something like that at an intersection, we look at crash data, we'll do a traffic count, and we also look to see if there are any side obstructions at that intersection that may be a factor in crashes. So, and that could be structures, houses. Some of the areas had houses within the 90-foot triangle, side triangle by code. Some have raised yards. So we look at all of that prior to making a decision, so of if any improvements need to be made.
Paul, do we have a budget for traffic slowing?
We don't. The only thing that, with this 27th Street, we were doing this as a trial, and we were using neighborhood improvement program funding to do that, just to see what the results are. And again, if other neighborhoods, I know Councilmember Hoheisel and I believe Glasscock have had requests in their districts for traffic calming to slow speeds. So this gives us an idea, and then we would approach those and it'd be special assessed.
I know 2nd Street by Brown Thrust Park is still a problem.
Right. Yes.
And there was a vehicle clocked at 102. So that's a real problem.
Right.
So if we
Must have been a south sider went out west.
Well, we'll continue to look at options. I think as we do more, we get better designs. So.
Paul, I think the mayor had something.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you very much, Paul, for that presentation. I wanted to know, when it comes to, for instance, the traffic calming projects,
You don't get credit.
I know that they are initiated by neighborhoods. I would like to know if there's like a top 10 list of areas where you've been asked for traffic calming and what the results of it, if it really has improved and reduced the number of crashes, and then seeing like a top 10 list of places where we've seen a lot of crashes and traffic calming might be an option.
Okay, I know Mike Armour, our traffic engineer, keeps track of, neighborhood issues, so we can kind of look at that. Regarding crashes, we look at the top 10 high accident at the intersections as well as mid-blocks each year to see if anything needs to be addressed. I don't know that we get a lot of those, would be on the residential streets, but we can take a look at that.
I would be curious to see that list, so I appreciate kind of seeing the remediation that's happened, but also the ones that are still problem areas.
Okay. Paul, just real quickly, that top 10 list that we have, what are some of the common contributors to those accidents? And a lot of those wound up to be, what, rear end or T-bone crashes?
Some of them are, a lot of them are at maybe the signalized intersection where we have a protective, permissive left turn. So we would look at that timing to see if we do protected only. Mid-block crashes, at some locations, either it's signalized or not. You know, if it's a 4-lane, do we need to make it a 5th lane, left turn lane there? 13th and Gatewood's a good example. It's a signalized intersection, however, there's only 4 lanes on 13th Street. We tried to do a lead left signal phasing for a particular direction, however, we still have crashes. So we've submitted that for Highway Safety Improvement Program funding to add a left turn.
So a lot of times it's either geometrics or signalization that's causing the issue, maybe not speed as much.
Correct,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Paul? Seeing none, I bid you all a good weekend.